Hi, my name is Deputy Chief Phil Pessina. I work here on the campus of Southern Connecticut State University Police Department. I'm second in command of a 27-member police department and work under Chief Joseph Dooley. I've been a member here at Southern for approximately 8 years now, and my career in law enforcement to date is 41 years in service. I started my career in law enforcement in April 1st, 1973, and spent about 33 and a half years with the Middletown Police Department. And while with that police department, I did a lot of work, community service work with community policing work with Wesleyan University. So I knew that I wanted to be involved in campus policing, university policing. So I was very fortunate. Within 3 months after retiring from Middletown, I was selected here for the position here on campus. And I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the student body here. When the university talks about student-centerism, and that's exactly what it is. It's all about the students. And our primary job is to keep yourselves safe and secure on campus. A little bit about my self growing up. I am the first generation member of my family that managed to go to college and actually high school. I am the baby of 3 brothers, and my oldest brother went to a Catholic school in Middletown, which was St. John's, but never really graduated. He went in right into the Navy. My middle brother, he went through up to Central School, which he still did not graduate past the 8th grade. He got out. Times were different then. Family members were expected to work, help with the family, and it was a different time. Being the baby of the family, I went through the Middletown school system and graduated from Middletown High School in 1966. But knowing the type of individual I was in high school as a senior, I felt a sense of accomplishment. But you know what? I really wasn't ready to go to college, because I don't think I had the maturity at that level to do the classwork and so forth. So I immediately volunteered to join the United States Air Force. And that was the time when the Vietnam conflict was on. My nephew, who's the same age as me, and my first cousin graduated in 1965, and they both were in the Army. My cousin was in North Korea, and my nephew was in Vietnam. So I knew I wanted to do something in the branch of services. So what I did was I joined the Air Force, and as fate would have it, I thought I was going to Vietnam. The Air Force had depleted its policing services in the European theater. So I was 19-year-old and on my way to Germany, West Germany. I spent my service time there in West Germany for approximately 3.5 years. And my whole career in the Air Force was around policing, because I have a significant background in policing, by meaning of family members involved. So I really enjoyed policing. That's what all the tests we used to take when we were in high school back then, they were geared for career services. It showed that in services itself, in the service field, that I would be very successful. So at any rate, I was in the Air Force, and you're there 3.5 years, toured Europe. Very lucky between 20, maybe about 22, 23 years old, to see places that I never had a chance to see. But I had the itch. I got the itch. I knew that I was the first member of my family to go to high school and graduate successfully, Rammer High School. But I knew I needed a college education. So I then saw an advertisement in the Air Force Times that the then New Haven College was offering a bachelor's degree. They used to call it in law enforcement administration. So I sent a letter off to the school and asked them, if I could be considered, and I was accepted. I had to take some preparatory classes, but what was unique about the time is that the Air Force itself and the military, the United States military in itself, was offering early out of your enlistment as long as you're going to attend college. They also had a very unique grant at that time. It was called the Law Enforcement Ombudsman Grant, where all we had to do was successfully complete our bachelor's degree and get a job and work 4 years, and the government took 25% off the loan. So it was a good deal. It was a good deal, but for me personally, it was a great deal because I could now reach accomplishment for myself to get a degree. So I started at New Haven College, which is now University of New Haven, and I started in the field of law enforcement administration, and that's actually where I met Henry Lee, the famous criminalist, and I minored in forensic sciences. I graduated from University of New Haven in June of 2000. Let's see, 2004. I got my bachelor's degree. So I started in 1973 and finished in 2004, only because during that time I got accepted to the Middletown Police Department. So they used to offer classes where they would offer the same class during the day and offer it in the evening. So for those of us on shift work, we could attain our courses and ultimately get our degree. And while at the University or the New Haven College, I saw that the transfer to university. I ended up being selected president of my fraternity, which is TEAC, and also I was president of the Interfraternity Sorority Council. So I got really involved in different minor leadership roles. So when I graduated with my bachelor's in 1975, I said 2004. In 1975, I decided, you know what, I'm going to get that master's degree. And in 1980, January 1980, I successfully completed my master's degree. So my parents were very proud of me. My brothers were very supportive. But for me, it was a personal accomplishment. Coming from a family structure where we were really, they had to work, and seeing how my parents moved up on the economical scale, I felt a sense of pride that I was able to get my degree and set my path in life. So, like I said, I graduated in 1975, and 1980 in January 1980 received my master's degree. And then I pursued my career in the Middletown Police Department, and I successfully went through all the ranks up to including deputy chief. So I was very proud of what I've done. I was very proud of the fact that I did receive my degree on my own, and managed to attain some great positions in the city, and also in my police department. When I retired from the Middletown Police Department in 2007, well, actually it was November 2006, I got hired here in 2007, February. Several people came up to me and wanted me to run for political office. So I ran, and I was a 3-term council person, or common council. I ended up being a minority leader, but all my career, from the very first day I got on the street to where I am today, I've always managed to be a strong youth advocate. And I have had the pleasure of working with pre-K all the way now to university. So it was a very, and it has been a very special, rewarding time for me in my life. And both in my community where I used to live, I actually started the girls basketball team with 2 other teams. My daughters were young. I have 3 daughters. And I just am proud of where I went, you know. I don't talk about it too much, but this gave me the opportunity, and as I reflected being accepted into the program to help mentor and to work with you guys, it gave, I finally realized my sense of accomplishment, really. You know, I thought about it a few times, but when I saw that email and then started, and when I met you guys that first night and said, wow, you know, there they are, where I was, okay? And in my own little way, if there was an opportunity for me to do whatever it takes to ensure that you two and the rest of the individuals go out and attain that college degree, then you too will sense and feel the satisfaction that I do. You too will be successful, and you two will have great families and move forward. So that someday when you guys have children, you'll be able to say that to your children. I decided to go to college when I was in the United States Air Force, like I told you. I knew, although I had a fleeting moment, I moved up the ranks, enlisted pretty good. I was on the list to make a staff sergeant, which would have been E5, and that's only after 3.5 years.
That's great.
But I had a burning desire in me that I really wanted to get a college education, because when we were growing up, our parents would tell us, you know, to be successful, you need an education, okay? And at that time, we knew we had to get the education. We knew we had to get a good job. We knew that, you know, hopefully we could get married. And by doing all these things, we would be successful. And just like my parents did for me and other parents did for their children to make their life a little bit better, then I did the same for my children. And I believe that if you have the self-confidence, especially in today's technology, back then and today, you really need the education. And if nothing more, a good college education not only makes you stronger educationally, culturally aware, diversity aware, but it makes you a stronger candidate for the jobs that you really truly wish that you're going to aspire to, because they're going to look at you as someone who, first generation, second, your desire, the hard work you put into it, and how you are now prepared to take on whatever responsibilities they are. Because I was in the business section of my high school, the curriculum, I did business. I didn't do any college preparatory. So I didn't have algebra, I didn't have statistical information, and I didn't have the real sciences. So New Haven took me, accepted me as a provisional student, and I had to take some level 1 courses. And the courses that I really struggled with, but I made it, were math related. I was never strong in my math skills, but I more than made up in my, you know, my English skills, my geography skills, history, and stuff like that. But I was determined, and I seeked out some help from some individuals that were going to college at the time, some friends of mine, to help me through the math process. And even though it was basic, I made it. I mean, I think I ended up getting, I think 3 C's in those 3 areas. But I had to work hard. And sometimes I was ready to throw it in. But I said, you know what? You want to do this, you got to do it. And no one's going to make you do it except for yourself. We had such a strong family unit, even though we didn't have much. We had such a strong family unit that my parents and my brothers were very supportive of what I was doing. Um, I really didn't see a barrier. Um, the only regret I have is that when I was growing up and going to grammar school and high school, my parents were first generation Italian with some French added in, and they never really spoke to me in Italian because they had such a hard time learning the language. And if I had to do it all over again, I would have more I would have rather them teach me Italian and English at the same time because I would have had that second language. I used to understand my grandparents and my parents, but I really just couldn't speak it. But that's the only regret. And like I said, we had a very supportive family. My older brother had joined the Navy and got married while he was in the Navy. He got married at 17 or 18. And my middle brother came back from his duty in Panama, and then he got married. But no, and they were in law enforcement. My older brother ended up being today in the correction system would be equivalent to a warden. Back then they called it, I think, senior captain, but he was in the major prison in the state of Connecticut, so he had several years. And my middle brother worked in the jail system. So I didn't feel any of that because of the communications process. The library was very helpful. Encyclopedias, which they don't have anymore today. Now I'm dating myself. But no, honestly, I sucked. Seeked out friends, those that were going to college, okay. Some that were going here. I think it was New Haven Teachers College back then. And anybody that I knew, like for math, there was a good friend of my mother's who was a bookkeeper. So I would go and spend time with them. But I just seeked out different individuals in my life to try to get help. As far as diversity goes and cultural, I was very culturally diverse based on the neighborhood that I grew up in, and so I already had the skills of truly identifying and understanding about low-income neighborhoods and all the dynamics that play in. But when I needed help, I wasn't afraid to ask, and I reached out, and I found most people were very supportive, especially at the college level, you know, your advisors and so forth. Not really, because no, not really, because I was very satisfied. I was very thankful, humbled at the fact that then New Haven College, through correspondence, accepted me, worked with me to get me through the remedial courses so I can go on to start my college degree. No, not really. I guess if I had to spin it all over, but I wanted to go in law enforcement. I really loved the campus of Southern, and I would have liked to come here. Although my oldest daughter graduated here with a graphic artist degree, and she took the alternative route, so she's teaching little children art. And my middle daughter went here for a couple years, but she decided she wanted to get into the industry field, so she never really finished her college, and that's okay. And my youngest daughter started here, wanted to be a teacher, and ended up having an epiphany that she wanted to be a event manager, wedding planner, and she went to Johnson Wales. We struggled a little bit to get her through, but we got her through, and now she's very successful. She's she's the director of weddings for the Connecticut Wedding Group. So I'm proud of my children, and I'm proud of the fact of what they did. And, you know, I'm proud of myself. Never in my wildest imagination would I have ever thought back then as a little kid that I would be where I am today. But can I tell you a funny story?
Go for it.
I'll tell you where it all started. Now it comes to me. I'll tell you where this all started. Not only from the family, but I was in 4th grade. I can picture it as it was the day, as it was yesterday. I was in 4th grade, standing in the playground of Central School, and watching the 8th graders when they had their caps and gowns on. They were practicing for graduation. And I remember looking at my buddy and said, you know what? I'm going to do that someday. I'm going to wear that cap and gown and graduate. That's grammar school. So when I said that, little did I know, or did I feel, that I would end up graduating with a master's degree from the University of New Haven with the cap and gown. So the little kid that was standing in the playground saying to himself, I'm going to wear that cap and gown, now propelled me to where I am today in my successful career. At least I feel successful in being here at Southern with all you guys. In my humble opinion, you got to give credit to yourself for stepping out and trying and motivating yourself to make the first step towards getting a college education. And that's big, because once you make that decision in itself will propel you to be anything you want to be and go anywhere you want to go, because that shows somewhere in your body and in your mind that you have the desire to better yourself. Okay? And although we need family support around us, whether it's parent, guardian, or significant other, it's all about you. And by you taking that first step is the first step to success, and the first step for you to get what you want to get out of life and get the degree and go where you want to go. And don't ever let anybody demean you for taking this first step to go to university and college, because in the end, it's all about you and your education and where you want to go in life. That's my advice.
Mm-hmm.